UFO sightings, unexplained vanishings, and strange underwater secrets all lead to one place, the world's deepest lake. Did the Soviets uncover alien life beneath its surface? What hidden truths does Lake Baikal hold? As we dig deeper, the story only grows stranger. Lake Baikal is no ordinary lake. Located in Siberia, it holds 20% of the world's unfrozen freshwater, more than all the Great Lakes combined. It stretches over 400 miles long and plunges more than 5,300 feet deep, making it the deepest lake on Earth, even deeper than many ocean trenches. For much of the year, thick ice covers the lake, allowing trucks to drive across, while its frigid depths remain nearly impossible to explore. Scientists believe Lake Baikal formed millions of years ago, when tectonic shifts split a mountain apart. The lake supports over 1,000 fish species and 245 aquatic plants, many found nowhere else. This vast biodiversity and isolation create perfect conditions for mysterious, enormous creatures to exist unnoticed. Local folklore and military reports suggest something extraordinary lives in its depths. The most intriguing and unusual story about the lake involves reports of unexplained phenomena underwater. In 1982, Soviet Navy divers were conducting routine training exercises in the waters of Lake Baikal. The initial days went smoothly, with nothing unusual occurring. However, on one dive at about 50 meters underwater, the divers noticed an unexpected phenomenon. A section of the lake suddenly erupted into bubbles and foam, resembling boiling water. This appeared unusual and out of the ordinary. Shortly after, the divers reported seeing humanoid figures standing in the depths. These figures were approximately 3 meters tall, wearing shiny silver suits, and without visible breathing apparatus. Despite being fully submerged, they appeared comfortable underwater. The divers were stunned and unsure how to react. After a brief moment, the figures swam away quietly, disappearing into the dark waters. Could governments be hiding more encounters like this from the public? Why do you think they would keep it secret? Comment and chat with me. What happened next would change everything, and leave some to pay the ultimate price. When the divers reported what they had seen, their commanding officer was initially skeptical. However, due to concerns about safety and the unknown, a group of 7 divers was sent back to investigate further and assess the situation. Concerned about possible threats, they equipped themselves with snares and other gear. Returning to the same spot, they hoped to observe the unusual figures again. The beings reportedly reappeared and approached the divers. During the encounter, one diver attempted to capture one of the figures using a noose, which seemed to provoke a reaction. The water around the divers reportedly became turbulent, creating a strong current that forced them to the surface too quickly, resulting in decompression sickness for the team. It was later found that one of the decompression chambers used for treatment was faulty, limiting care to only 4 of the 7 divers. As a result, reports indicate that 3 divers died and 4 were seriously injured. These mysterious figures have since been nicknamed the Lake Baikal Swimmers. Described as approximately 3 meters tall and clad in silvery suits, witnesses said the figures appeared deep in the cold waters and seemed unaffected by the underwater conditions. Over time, various rumors and stories have circulated, including local fishermen claiming to have seen similar figures, and some connecting these beings to unexplained aerial phenomena in the area. These stories resonate with local Buryat legends about water spirits or guardians of the lake, suggesting that traditional lore might reflect attempts to explain mysterious experiences. The incident reportedly remained classified for years, though rumors gradually spread. Due to the secretive nature of the event, official confirmation has never been made public. If you want to see the UFO sighting caught on camera as it landed in the Amazon, I've also added a direct link to the video in the comments section pinned below this video. And don't forget to come back. The next exploration will delve into decades of classified documents and creepy footage that suggests the lake's secrets go even further. Then, in 2009, some declassified Soviet documents brought renewed attention to events near Lake Baikal that reportedly took place decades earlier. However, the lake's history of unusual occurrences stretches back much further, with accounts dating as far back as the 1950s. One of these incidents was an event from 1958 that involved a Russian Tu-154 plane that crashed into the lake. Some witnesses claimed the aircraft was pursued by an unidentified flying object just before the crash. No official explanation was provided, and rumors circulated suggesting that the object may have interfered with the plane. However, these claims remain unverified, In May 1964, an anti-aircraft missile unit located near Ulan-Ude, about 25 kilometers from Lake Baikal's southern shore, reported seeing a glowing orange sphere hovering over the water. Shortly after, another similar sphere appeared. The unit experienced a loss of communication, which led to increased military activity and KGB involvement. Despite investigations, no conclusive explanation emerged. Some speculated the sightings could have been UFOs, while others proposed natural gas flares or rare atmospheric phenomena. Tap the like button to let us know this content is making a difference, and if you're watching on your phone, be sure to press the hype button right below. Every hype helps this video reach more people, and it truly supports me in earning extra income. I promise to keep bringing you even more great content. Next, you'll hear about a massive silent cigar-shaped craft that dwarfed everything else and left witnesses questioning what they truly saw. Witnesses reported observing a large cigar-shaped object flying silently over Lake Baikal. Multiple observers estimated the object's length to be around 250 meters, roughly the size of 3 football fields. Notably, the craft was described as making no sound as it moved across the lake's surface. According to accounts, the object released 3 smaller orbs of light, each glowing a different color: red, green, and blue. These orbs appeared to move in coordinated patterns around the larger object and were observed for several minutes before disappearing near the Kamar Daban mountain range. The larger craft reportedly continued across the lake silently. The sighting lasted approximately 20 minutes, leaving witnesses amazed and without clear explanation. Some have speculated about possible advanced technology or secret military tests, but no official confirmation or explanation has been released. In 1977, a team of scientists aboard a research submersible called Pisces encountered an unusual event while conducting deep-water research in Lake Baikal. The team was operating at a depth of 1,200 meters, nearly 4,000 feet below the surface, when their external spotlight system suddenly failed without warning. At that depth, any equipment failure could quickly become a serious emergency, and the loss of external lighting made it impossible to continue their research or navigate safely. But only moments after the lights failed, something unexpected happened. A bright beam of light suddenly illuminated the submersible from an unknown external source. The crew was surprised as they realized that something outside their vessel was shining a powerful light on them. The light source was extremely bright, far more powerful than typical underwater lighting equipment. It stayed focused on the submersible for several seconds, as if the source was observing the occupants inside their metal craft. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the mysterious light disappeared, leaving the scientists once again in complete darkness. The crew was shaken and puzzled, unable to explain what had just occurred. No other research vessels were operating in the area at that depth, and no known technology could account for such a powerful underwater light source. The incident was recorded in the research logs, but no explanation was found for what the team experienced. The Pisces incident is considered one of the more credible reports of unusual technology in Lake Baikal's waters, largely because it involved trained scientists using sophisticated equipment in a controlled research environment. These were not casual observers or military personnel under stress. They were academics whose careers depended on accurate observation and documentation. However, the lake's reputation for mysterious disappearances extends beyond strange lights and unexplained encounters. One well-known location on Lake Baikal is an area locally called the Devil's Crater, where boats and crews have reportedly vanished without leaving any trace. In June 2011, a small boat named Yamaha set out from a village in the Kabansk region for what was supposed to be a routine motor test. On board were 4 experienced crew members, seasoned sailors familiar with the lake's unpredictable weather and challenging conditions. These were professionals who understood the lake's behavior and respected its power, having made this same journey many times before without incident. However, shortly after setting off, a sudden fog rolled in across the lake's surface. While such rapid weather changes are common on Lake Baikal, when the fog cleared several hours later, there was no sign of the Yamaha or its crew. The boat seemed to have vanished without a trace. Search teams launched immediate, extensive operations involving sonar, divers, and aerial reconnaissance. Despite these efforts, no wreckage, bodies, debris, or clues were found. The disappearance remains unexplained, leaving families and investigators with many questions. Some locals suggest the Yamaha may have been caught in an underwater whirlpool, reputedly linked to the Devil's Crater area. Others have speculated about possible connections to unidentified aerial phenomena reported in the region. Following this incident, interest in Lake Baikal's mysterious events waned for nearly 25 years, becoming local folklore shared by fishermen and residents, but largely dismissed by mainstream science. However, when classified files related to a 1982 incident were publicly released, renewed curiosity emerged about what might truly be happening in Lake Baikal. Fast forward to 2012, when scientists launched an ambitious expedition to explore Lake Baikal's depths using the advanced submersibles Mir-1 and Mir-2. These sophisticated machines were capable of diving to extreme depths previously inaccessible to human exploration, allowing researchers to study parts of the lake that had remained mysterious for centuries. The official goal of the expedition was purely scientific, to examine the lake's unique geology and ecosystems, particularly the hydrothermal vents that support life under the extreme conditions found at the lake's bottom. These vents create localized areas of warmth and chemical activity in otherwise frigid depths, hosting unique forms of life found nowhere else on Earth. While the expedition's focus was entirely on scientific research, it attracted the interest of UFO enthusiasts and independent researchers worldwide. Many hoped that this deep exploration might reveal evidence related to unexplained phenomena previously reported in the lake, such as unusual structures or objects on the lake floor. The research team spent months collecting sediment samples, documenting new species, and studying how microorganisms adapted to survive under high pressure and low temperature. Their findings about extremophile bacteria and unique geological formations contributed valuable scientific knowledge. Observers outside the official team closely followed the expedition, curious whether advanced submersible technology might capture unusual imagery or data. Speculation arose that any findings related to unidentified or unexplained objects could be withheld or classified by government authorities. Despite this speculation, the scientists published research focused fully on natural scientific discoveries, reporting no evidence of extraterrestrial or anomalous phenomena. However, some local residents and UFO researchers remained unconvinced, interpreting the absence of unusual findings as possible withholding of information. The lake has a long history of reported mysterious events, including stories of vanished vessels that reappeared with crew members unable to explain the elapsed time, and sightings of strange lights moving over and beneath the water. Many of these unusual reports coincided with accounts of magnetic disturbances and electronic malfunctions in the area, contributing to Lake Baikal's reputation as a location associated with unexplained phenomena. Given the range of eyewitnesses, including military personnel, scientists, and locals, and the official reports stating no extraordinary findings, some continue to theorize about possible undisclosed discoveries, though no concrete evidence supports these claims. Not everyone is convinced by these extraordinary stories, and critics raise several important points worth considering. Many argue that these claims rely heavily on hearsay, exaggerated accounts, and a blend of folklore and fact that makes it difficult to distinguish truth from fiction. The 1982 story of Soviet divers encountering mysterious 3-meter-tall humanoids in silvery suits is among the most discussed incidents, but critics note there is little official documentation to support these claims. Most evidence consists of second-hand accounts passed down over time, often becoming more dramatic with each retelling. Critics suggest these stories follow a familiar pattern. They become increasingly sensational, blurring the line between reality and myth. What may have begun as a misunderstood encounter is transformed into something far more extraordinary through decades of retelling and embellishment. The idea of an extraterrestrial base operating under Lake Baikal is also questioned. Skeptics argue that if such a base existed, a location with easier access and more resources would be more practical. Baikal's extreme depth, harsh climate, and remote position present significant logistical challenges for any permanent installation. While the lake's isolation might offer concealment, it would also complicate supplying and maintaining any advanced facility. Critics contend these practical considerations make the extraterrestrial base theory unlikely. Another key point raised by skeptics is the lack of physical evidence. Despite decades of reported sightings and encounters, there are no clear photographs, recovered artifacts, or concrete proof that anything extraordinary is occurring at Lake Baikal. If an unidentified presence existed, critics argue, more definitive evidence would presumably have surfaced. Supporters of the extraterrestrial theory respond by suggesting governments might choose to keep any such information classified if they possessed it. They highlight recent U.S. congressional hearings on UFO cases as examples of governments managing information about unexplained aerial phenomena. The U.S. military's recent acknowledgement of encounters with objects displaying advanced technology beyond current human capabilities suggests that dismissing all UFO-related claims outright may be premature. If one government has admitted to some genuine unexplained encounters, it is reasonable to consider that others might have similar information. Regarding Lake Baikal's suitability as a potential site, supporters argue it makes strategic sense. The lake's connection to river systems provides access to much of northern Asia, allowing for discrete movement across large distances. Its extreme depth offers natural concealment, and its remote location minimizes the risk of accidental discovery by civilians. Critics also cite the lake's extreme weather and unique geography as adequate explanations for many of the strange events reported over the years. Lake Baikal is notorious for sudden and dramatic weather shifts that can create hazardous conditions for anyone on the water within minutes. The lake's immense size, over 400 miles long and more than a mile deep in some areas, combined with unpredictable weather patterns, creates an environment where boats can easily become lost, damaged or destroyed by natural forces. Considering the lake's reputation for sudden storms and dangerous ice conditions, it becomes easier to understand why vessels might disappear without a trace. Many of the reported glowing lights and unusual illuminations could be explained by natural phenomena such as gas emissions from the lakebed, atmospheric optical effects creating light illusions, or bioluminescent organisms producing eerie glows under certain conditions. Fast-moving underwater objects, sometimes described as unidentified submerged objects, could actually be schools of fish, underwater currents, or debris carried by the lake's complex currents. Sonar equipment can occasionally misinterpret these natural phenomena, generating readings that resemble artificial objects when they are in fact natural. However, these natural explanations do not account for all reported phenomena, especially highly specific encounters described by trained military personnel expected to differentiate natural from anomalous events. Another significant point raised by critics relates to Lake Baikal's economic importance and status as a popular tourist destination. Often called the Pearl of Siberia, the lake has attracted investors and tourists worldwide for decades. In 2007, the Russian government designated the Baikal region as a special economic zone to encourage development and tourism. Tourism to Lake Baikal has grown significantly. According to the Russian Federal State Statistics Service, in 2013, 79,279 foreign tourists visited Irkutsk and Lake Baikal, increasing to 146,193 by 2014, reflecting strong economic growth. Critics argue that if Lake Baikal were truly as mysterious or dangerous as some UFO researchers claim, authorities would likely restrict access and designate it a classified zone, rather than actively promoting tourism and commercial development. The area's open status suggests officials do not regard it as a site of confirmed extraterrestrial activity. As critics often note, following the money trail indicates that the Russian government views Lake Baikal primarily as a valuable economic asset rather than a location requiring secrecy or security. After reviewing decades of reports, documents, and eyewitness accounts, many questions remain about Lake Baikal. The lake's great depth, unique ecosystem, and remote location make it unlike any other place on Earth. For over 70 years, credible witnesses, including military personnel, scientists, and locals, have reported unexplained phenomena. The 1982 incident with Soviet Navy divers is one of the most compelling cases. 3 trained divers died, and the event was quickly classified at the highest level, suggesting something unusual happened beneath the surface. Reports from different decades, witnesses, and situations make it hard to dismiss all sightings as mistakes or hoaxes. Declassified Soviet files revealed the government took these events seriously, treating them as national security matters. Skeptics raise valid points too. No physical proof has been found, natural causes might explain many sightings, and tourism interest encourage a normal image of the lake. Recent scientific dives found only expected discoveries, though some wonder if unusual findings were kept secret. Lake Baikal fits into the larger pattern of UFO disclosures worldwide. The U.S. government recently confirmed unidentified aerial phenomena, releasing military footage and holding hearings. If some UFO encounters are genuine, Baikal's mysterious reports deserve reconsideration. The lake's size, depth, magnetic anomalies, and strange time reports match expectations for a secretive, advanced presence, if such a thing exists. The 1982 tragedy also suggests whatever is there might defend itself, unlike natural events. Whatever the truth, Lake Baikal remains one of the planet's great mysteries, blurring lines between the known and unknown. It reminds us that many secrets still await discovery. So is it merely natural phenomena, or something more extraordinary? The evidence shows something strange is happening. The real challenge is whether we're ready to accept and explore the truth. If you want to learn more about the U.S. Navy UFO encounters discussed in congressional hearings, watch the next video. The evidence might change how you see these mysteries, and why proof might be hidden. Thanks for joining this journey into Lake Baikal's secrets. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss upcoming explorations. What do you think is really happening? Share your thoughts below. I read every comment. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.